John let me know that I've got about 5 minutes, so I promise not to read that damn thing tonight. But I'd like to try and summarize how we got into this state and what we're supposed to do about it. So a super reduced take on history goes something like this. A few millennia ago, modern man won the Paleolithic Hunger Games. We hunted and we gathered until some bonehead planted seeds. Then we grew food in the country and organized specialized activities in cities. And so it goes. We enjoy and endure the roses and thorns of civilization. Homer and Hitler, Frank Lloyd Wright and Robert Moses, Lincoln and Caligula, Bruce Springsteen and Jerry Springer. The last of whom I understand liked to drink in this very bar when it went under a different name. But the good and gracious people of Evanston usually ignored him, as they thought themselves above Jerry's particular brand of celebratory cultural collapse. You know, if there is one thing that we are exceptionally good at in this town, it's grandstanding on principle. Paper. I should have thought of that. All right, so yeah. We separated the country and the city, and it was okay. But then some really misguided people thought it might be nice if we created a new kind of place, with none of the peace and tranquility of the countryside, and none of the convenience, vitality, and serendipity of a city. And they called this place a suburb. In defiance of thousands of years of civilization planning, modern suburban framers demanded segregation of human activity. We sleep in houses set back from curvilinear streets, surrounded by near-identical boxes mushrooming to the horizon. We work in sprawling office parks many miles away from our sleeping boxes. We shop in multi-acre, one-story strip malls surrounded by vast parking lots that dwarf the big boxes they serve. And we drive every day, all of the time. My apologies to Bill Burnham. Evanston predates this development line. Coming of age in an era just before we let cars and car infrastructure completely remap the physical, spiritual, and psychological logic of our built environment, Evanston has the bones of a real city. There's a set of walkable business districts, all connected by a spinal train line, and nearby, often pretty dense, housing. But that old logic is under siege, and it's been under such sustained pressure for these past 75-odd years that any brave soul calling for a return to our ancient ways of organizing space is branded a radical. Look, I don't want to crap on the work of local advocacy and activists. For one thing, my wife told me it would be a terrible idea to come here and do that, since frankly, it's all we're likely to have for the foreseeable future. But I do think it's important to realize that these skirmishes for inches, a bike lane here, a new apartment building near a train stop with little parking there, blow against an entrenched conservative majority that has gotten very comfortable with how things are. And they're downright allergic to change. But one thing that I have noticed, the good and gracious people of Evanston do not like being called conservative. It's super triggering. Forgive me. But I'm going to quote something from our President-elect's so-called Agenda 47 campaign website. I don't do this. They will use the power of the federal government to abolish zoning for single-family homes, destroy your property values by building giant multi-family apartment complexes in the suburbs, and even next to your house, and force your community to pay for low-income housing developments right next door. The woke left is waging full-scale war on the suburbs, and their Marxist crusade is coming for your neighborhood, your tax dollars, your public safety, and your home. Yeah, I know, yeah, you got a throw kind of I know. Look, I know that when advocates of the status quo in Evanston write their op-eds, or speak up in public meetings, they aren't nearly as crass and egregious as that. But they're ultimately saying the same thing. They really don't like it when you point this out. If I have one suggestion to offer the advocates of urbanism, walkable cities, mixed zoning, multimodal transit, and all the rest, point out who your opposition aligns with when they say those things. It may rattle a few folks in the margins. Thank you very much.